Welcome to the University of South Australia graduation ceremony. Please take your seats and take a moment to ensure your mobile phone is switched off or to silent. In the event of an emergency, please follow the directions of Sir Robert Helpman Theatre staff.
Marnina Pudni, Garna Yatana, Natu Putamanu Mrat Boandikat, Wulnu Ichara Berenat, Narin Yalbu Nagadu, Barngala Mirinya, Yurari Yara Malbu. Manina Punni, Karnayatana, Natu Patumanumrat, Bondikat, Narin Yabul Nagadu, Arngala Mirinya, Yurari Yara Malbo. Manina Punni. Patumanumrat, Bondikat, Narin Yabul Nagadu, Angala Mirinya, Yurari Yara Malbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the academic procession.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. Before we begin, I would like to invite Ms. Robin Campbell, descendant of the Bangladesh and Maintank peoples of the Boandik Nation and Chief Executive Officer of the Burundi's Aboriginal Corporation, to welcome us to country.
Matu Karu Wingara, Nari Nine Robin, Nathuba Kanyo Mintank Bongindich Wepakanara, Nathubua Marato Nari Nine, Mimera Wirini Nurpa, Nathawuli Mimera Nani Nurpa, Matu Kakai Nola Wawiniwa Baron Natugi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robin Campbell. I am a descendant of the Mintank and Bongindich peoples, the First Nations people of the South East. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge my spiritual ancestors, my elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to acknowledge the Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor and all the other dignitaries, and especially all the candidates graduating here today at this site next to the Cave Gardens. The Cave Gardens in our language is known as Tugi, which means bullfrog in ancient times. It was a meeting place for the Bunganditj peoples and the Southeast First Nations people. On behalf of the Bunganditj and the First Nations people, we welcome you all here to Mount Gambier, Berrin and Tugi, the site we are gathering on here today. Tudu.
Thank you, Ms Campbell. Professor Joanne Seiss, Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Mr Robert Cowan, Mrs Gail Cowan, Ms Fleur Rochock, Principal of Grant High School and today's occasional speaker, Mr Richard Sage, Mayor of the District Council of Grant, Ms Erica Vickery, OAM, Mayor of the Narracourt Lucindale Council, senior management and staff of the University, graduates, friends and family. My name is Pauline Carr and I am the Chancellor of the University of South Australia. It is my very great pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon to this special graduation ceremony. Graduands, may I be the first to officially congratulate you as graduands of the University of South Australia. It is because of your hard work and no doubt very late nights that have brought you here to this place, the end of one chapter of your life and the beginning of another. The parchment that you take with you today is the entree to your profession that you've chosen, and because we've prepared you well, it won't be long before you're making a valuable contribution to that profession. You chose well to bring your talents to the University of South Australia. Last year we had our 30th birthday, and not only did we score well on all the things that matter to you, we are South Australia's #1 university for student satisfaction. We're #1 for graduate careers and #1 for graduate employability. We've also educated so many Australian CEOs that we are ranked #4 in Australia by MBA News. So congratulations on being the right kind of professionals that future employers are looking for. You have just lived through a period of great change. You've not only survived, you've thrived. The pandemic did change everything, but the university is young and nimble enough to deal with it. As a university of enterprise, we learn to pivot to bring you the degrees you need to start and maintain your successful careers. And you, as students, were quick to adapt to new information and new ways of learning it. Times of great change are always interesting. The disruption causes great upheavals, which always create new opportunities. Think of a tree that falls. It uproots everything around it, but gives space for many new things to grow. You're about to enter a work environment like no other, one where fresh opportunities will be offered and new ideas will be welcomed. You're also about to enter a very new world, a world where we can strike a better balance between our work and private lives. And for many of you, no matter where you work from, whether it be home, an office or a clinic, you've already learned that in the past 2 years that we can conduct much of our business at arm's length, and that it is possible to have a rewarding and globally significant career in a flexible manner. Moreover, it is important to remember that to develop successful relationships in your chosen workplace, you must make time for face-to-face interactions and nurture the connections that you make, especially if a large part of your time and effort is spent dealing with colleagues online. Respect their opinions, value their diversity, and make sure the warmth you show the people around you is conveyed online as well. The American poet and civil rights activist Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." I think that's worth remembering as you embark upon a new career. Before today, please enjoy the moment that you come up onto stage and show the parchment that you work so hard for to the people who love you the most. These are the people, I'm certain, that have been the key to your success so far, the people who have given you the love, support and encouragement that got you here today, your family and your friends. Graduands, to demonstrate your support and appreciation to your family and friends for their invaluable contribution, I ask that you stand up, face your loved ones, and give them a big round of applause and a cheer. Thank you, graduands. It is now my pleasure to ask our Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Professor Joanne Seiss, to address you.
Good afternoon, graduands. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter of your lives. Your graduation is one of the most important dates in your life calendar, and while I know you'll be heading out of here to celebrate with the family and friends who helped get you here, I'd like you to pause just for these next few minutes and reflect, because you're different now. A number of years ago, when you first entered the campus of the University of South Australia, you weren't ready for this day. You may have been ready to absorb all the information that was made available to you, but you weren't the you that you are now. You weren't ready to wear the mortarboard you have on, nor the gowns and the colourful hoods that signify what you've achieved. And now you're about to graduate into the world, a world that you will perceive and understand in different ways because of what you have learned. During these past years, you've grown and developed your knowledge and skills with us at the University of South Australia, and we are immensely proud of the people you have become. The university has made available to you all the knowledge, all the results of our research, and all of our most relevant and committed teaching. And we gave you opportunities for you to put what you learned into practice in real-world settings. But it was you that did the hard work. It wasn't easy. At UniSA, you learned and questioned and relearned. You analysed and thought and reflected. You discussed and debated and argued. And importantly, you practised applying your knowledge as emerging professionals. And so here you are today, ready to graduate and grow to your full potential as contributors to the world. Even the word that describes what is happening today, graduate, has special meaning for you. The origin is grad, meaning step, incrementally, by grade, or by degree, in fact. You have stepped through your learning, gradually increasing your store of knowledge, practicing it, and demonstrating your ability to understand and apply it. In your examinations, your assignments, your internships, your performances, and your placements. And while each of those steps may have seemed inconsequential at the time, all of those incremental steps brought you to this moment in your history. As you cross the stage today, with each step you take, you will transform from graduand to graduate, one step further ahead than you were a minute ago. Just think about how far those steps have taken you and how far they could take you from here. UniSA has 230,000 alumni, all of whom have stories to inspire you and advice to share with you. These are the people just like you who have taken steps to use their knowledge, not just to succeed in their professional lives, but to add value to their communities as well. The UniSA alumni who have stepped before you would advise you to be bold with your goals. They would guide you to always look for new opportunities. They would encourage you to seek experiences rich in diversity and innovation. They would reassure you to not be frightened to step up and participate in new things. And they would remind you that to be happy in what you are doing is a key to success. Many of our alumni, maybe some like you, would want to share that their university education was a giant step that changed their lives forever. And so now it's your turn. Having a degree affords you so much. Your education has now given you global citizenship in a changing world. Your studies have also instilled in you a passion to know more, to keep learning, and to keep doing that in every aspect of your life, from your professional careers to your personal and social lives. Your ability to continue to learn equips you to stay open to all the possibilities that life has to offer. You will have more opportunities and more responsibilities to share what you know. Think of the people you look up to, the people who have been generous and kind to you and who have inspired and motivated you and become one of those for others. But for today, congratulations on your graduation. We at the University of South Australia are all very proud of you. Chancellor, I would now like to present Mr. Robert Cohen and Mrs. Gail Cohen for the Honorary Award of Fellow of the University. Chancellor, the University of South Australia confers the award of Fellow of the University to a person who has given substantial support to the University over a continuous period of time. It is my pleasure to present to you Robert Molam Cohen and Gail Linford Cohen for the award of Fellow of the University in recognition of their outstanding contribution to the growth and development of the University of South Australia. Gail and Bob Cohen are passionate advocates for students from rural and regional areas who often face disadvantage in their access to furthering their education. The Cohen Grant was established to support initiatives that help financially disadvantaged students gain higher education and follow the career prospects that such education affords. They also encourage the broadening of horizons through international travel. The Cohen Grant has celebrated 27 years of philanthropic giving and has provided more than $3.2 million to over 1,500 students. The Cohen's generosity and support has been spread widely, particularly in the past few years, with education providers such as the University of South Australia and the University of Adelaide. Bob and Gail Cohen are active members of the community in Mount Gambier and are closely associated with UniSA's Mount Gambier campus. Bob Cohen had a 35-year in the forestry and timber industry in South Australia before his retirement. He spent much of that career in senior executive roles at the South Australia Woods and Forest Department, which is now Forestry SA. He is an expert in his field, adding to his Bachelor of Science Forestry with a Diploma of Forestry from the Australian Forestry School in Canberra and postgraduate studies in forestry at Oxford. He is generous with his expertise, having lectured in forestry technology at the South East Department of TAFE in South Australia and sitting on a number of forestry industry management boards and committees, including being the president of the Radiata Pine Association of Australia and being the inaugural chairman of the South East Economic Development Board. Since 2008, when the Cohen Grant was created as the sole recipient of the Cohen Family Trust, Gail Cohen has been instrumental in its successful investment approach, enabling the Trust to expand its philanthropic offerings, particularly supporting students from rural and regional family backgrounds. She is also deeply committed to the Mount Gambier community, volunteering her time on several groups, including organisations that reflect her passion for the arts. She has been a long-time supporter of the Riddoch Art Gallery and is a generous supporter of other groups within Mount Gambier. The contributions made to the wider community by both Bob and Gail Cohen are many and varied, but are best summed up by one recipient who said, "Your generosity has enabled countless students to pursue experiences that they never otherwise would have been able to access. Giving access to education is in UniSA's DNA, and people like the Cowens are in our lifeblood." Chancellor, on behalf of the University of South Australia, I'm pleased to present Robert Molam Cohen and Gail Linford Cohen to you for the Honorary Awards of Fellows of the University in recognition of their significant contributions to the community and to the University of South Australia.
Thank you, Professor Seiss. On behalf of the University of South Australia, I confer on you Robert Molam Cohen and Gail Linford Cohen the Honorary Award of University Fellow. Thank you. It is now my very great pleasure to invite Ms. Fleur Rochock, Principal of Grant High School, Mount Gambier, to deliver today's occasional address. Ms. Rochock has spent her career working in the Limestone Coast as a teacher and since 2006 in leadership roles. She is currently Chair of the Mount Gambier One Portfolio Executive and Chair of the South East Secondary Schools Alliance. She is also a board member of the South Australian Secondary Principals Association and was a contributor to the development of the South Australian Regional Education Strategy.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduands. Congratulations, graduands, on completing all the work it took to reach this point today, your graduation day. I hope you are proud of what you have achieved already and really looking forward to what will come next in your careers. I want to talk to you about what's important. Obviously, I've been reflecting on sharing with you something that has helped me reach where I am now, principal of a respected public secondary school, but it turns out I didn't think that was necessarily the most important thing. For the record though, the way I've ended up where I am could not have been more conventional. My parents made sure I had the best education available. I went to university, found work and worked my way up through the ranks. I did not have to defy the system or fight injustice. I just worked hard, took good advice and made some good decisions. Most importantly, I have loved my job. Incidentally, the first bit of good advice, career advice at least, I took was from my mum when I was 14 and I was choosing my subjects for year 10 and she said, choose what you like and what you're good at and you'll end up doing something that you like and that you're good at. She was right. Instead, I thought I'd focus on what makes me unique. And ironically, I think it's the same thing that makes everyone else unique. And that is the individual ways we connect with each other. And this feeds directly into why I love my work. I am frequently amazed by the accidental feedback I receive that tells me what people like about me. As the boss, I'm often asked for advice by members of staff, and I clearly have some stock adages that I must trot out fairly regularly. One of them is, you'll need to be the adult in this situation. In subsequent conversations, these staff members will say to me, I was being the adult like you said, Fleur. And I'll be honest, even after 30 years, it still amazes me that people consider my advice worth listening to. My relationships with young people, though, are the most important, and wanting to be successful in that regard is, of course, why I became a teacher. I teach English and history, and I read aloud a lot. My English lecturer, through my graduate diploma, made it very clear that reading should be a joy for young people and that reading was not joyful if it was laborious. So he encouraged us to read aloud and demanded that we do so proficiently. We were even assessed on it. I took his advice to heart and I read to students, even in secondary school, sometimes just for pleasure and no other purpose. This is one aspect of my work where students tell me I'm really good. I don't even ask them and they volunteer this information, which is most unusual in adolescents, who are a notoriously tough crowd. Reading aloud to students has now become an act of service rather than a teaching tool, and I delight in it. So far, my, I hope, sage pieces of advice are these. Keep doing what you like and what you're good at. Remember that people listen to everything you say, so be careful, and acts of service will bring you joy. The final one is this. Remember where you came from and why you're doing what you're doing. When things are really difficult, you'll need that certainty to come back to. Margaret Atwood explains this much better than I ever could in my favourite poem, so I'm going to read it aloud. And because I'm feeling nostalgic today, I've brought my book from first year of university, where I actually used to go to a lecture theatre called 101. So this is You Begin by Margaret Atwood, and I apologise in advance, sometimes I cry when I read this. You begin. You begin this way. This is your hand, this is your eye. That is a fish, blue and flat on the paper, almost the shape of an eye. This is your mouth. This is an O or a moon, whichever you like. This is yellow. Outside the window is the rain, green because it is summer, and beyond that the trees and then the world, which is round and has only the colours of these 9 crayons. This is the world, which is fuller and more difficult to learn than I have said. You are right to smudge it that way. With the red and then the orange, the world burns. Once you have learned these words, you will learn that there are more words than you can ever learn. The word hand floats above your hand like a small cloud over a lake. The word hand anchors your hand to this table. Your hand is a warm stone I hold between 2 words. This is your hand, these are my hands. This is the world which is round but not flat and has more colours than we can see. It begins, it has an end. This is what you will come back to. This is your hand. You will always need to know why you are doing what you are doing. And my experience is that it feels better if what you are doing helps somebody else. Congratulations again, and good luck.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and wisdom and personal journeys with today's graduates, Ms. Roshak. I'm sure that you've inspired our audience. I would now like to invite Professor Rachel Vernon, Dean of Programs, Nursing and Midwifery, UniSA Clinical and Health Sciences, to begin the presentation of awards.
Who have fulfilled the conditions for admission to awards of this university. I request that the awards be conferred in absentia upon candidates whose names appear in the graduation ceremony handbook.
Professor Vernon, I have pleasure in conferring awards on all candidates who have met the prescribed requirements.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Simonette Thompson. For the degree of Bachelor of Business Management, Hannah Witherow. For the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Accounting, Gemma Lee Ballantyne. For the Graduate Certificate in Nursing Mental Health, Gabriela Rodrigo. And Kerry Ann Wellsford. For the degree of Bachelor of Midwifery, Imogen Page Hughes. For the degree of Bachelor of Nursing, Natasha Ann Baisley. Elena Box. Chelsea Ellen Bull. Shanae Elise Kopic. Anita Kim Diamond. Emily Simone Fink. Zoe Rachel Fennell. Donna Claire Fleming. Ashley Louise Corley. Grace Lynette Harriet. Lindsay Renee Hazel. Crystal Ann Henderson. Gemma Rose Herapa. Emmeline Louise Powell Hodges. Laura Jean Home. Troy Lawrence Locke. Bindi Matthews. Eliza Page Mewett. Shakira Lee Pignotti. Fiona Kate Rutter. And Lainey Phi Ryan. For the degree of Bachelor of Music, Patricia Frances Brugman. Jackson Allen Faulkner. And Benjamin David Langford. For the degree of Master of Education, Lynette Corletto. For the Graduate Certificate in Education Studies Digital Learning, Donna Marie Wild. For the degree of Bachelor of Education Early Childhood, Emma Louise Martin. Chloe Perryman. Lisa Joanne Telford. Sky J. Varco. and Courtney Jade Williams. For the degree of Bachelor of Education Primary, Joshua Edward Barnes. Lisa Louise Boyd. Lauren Marie Bradley. Taylor Page Ferguson. Lily D. Gill. Paul James Griffith. Catherine Emma Schofield. Taryn K. Thatcher. And David Paul Tompkins. For the Diploma in Health, Amber Lee Formosa. Shana Lee Medhurst. And Meiko Likoba Ola. For the Graduate Certificate in Ageing and Disability, Mark Baggo. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Work, Brianna Erin Ableel. Kerry Ann Baker. Janelle Louise Brennan. Laura Long. Bernadette Jane Nash. And Molly Claire Nichols. For the Associate Degree in Engineering, Joshua David Matthews. Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of awards.
Thank you, Professor Vernon. Graduates, you have shared one of the most significant periods of your life here with your colleagues at the University of South Australia. You've worked hard and earned a degree from one of the world's best young universities. When you leave here today, most of you will look to begin new careers, but I know a number of you will take some steps up the ladder in the careers that you already have. Be sure to celebrate your achievements because they have been impressive. You have been educated and prepared to hit the ground running, because people who graduate from the University of South Australia are considered the most employable graduates in the state. I know that you'll make a valuable and lasting contribution to your profession and your communities, and that you will take your part in a rapidly growing network of UniSA-inspired success stories who are all doing interesting and great work throughout the world. You could also be inspired by the great philanthropic work done by one of our newest university fellows, Bob and Gail Cowan, who hold a special place in our UniSA family. Graduates, you have the qualifications, and coupled with the passion to do something positive, you can make real change in the world. I very much hope that you continue to stay in touch with us and let us know what you're up to. And you can do this through our alumni network, which now has almost 230,000 members. It is a network that is there to help you, to support you, and to give you that connection back to your university. As you leave us today, I wish you a world of opportunity and good fortune. But before you go, please stay seated while the rest of us in this assembly stand to congratulate you and wish you well on your journey. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes...
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the exit of the academic procession, followed by the graduates.